So Terence Crawford is 147 pounds. How do we know this? Michael Dangerfield, what's going on, brother? How do we know this? All things, what's up? How do we know this? Electric Agitator, how you doing, brother? The Kegi, what's up? Bernard, what's up? Edward Volatin, how do we know this? Because he is a belt holder of 3 titles in the welterweight division. Okay, now that we got that established, because I want to make sure we on the same page here. Because when people look at this scenario, they automatically jump to conclusions and say that Terence Crawford is being outed. Terence Crawford is being done wrong. There's an injustice happening. Can we get the likes up, please? The likes and the viewership is not congruent. Can we make this congruent? Can we make it make sense so other people can learn about the business of boxing? And when you press on the like button, that's what happens. YouTube, well, at least they're supposed to. So for some reason on my channel, most of the time they don't, but they're supposed to. They'll push the algorithm out, right? Right? That's what they'll do, especially when I'm using their platform. That's why, if you notice, my viewership is different when I use another platform, a different platform like StreamYard, than directly from YouTube, right? All right. Now, he's 147 pounds. He's a champion at 147. Now that we got that established, what we talking about at 154 again? He's 147 pounds. Terence Crawford is. He holds 3 titles at 147 pounds, right? Okay. How is he being done wrong if he's already a champion at 147? In other words, he's officially a welterweight champion of the world, right? Okay. Now, I have some questions. I just want to lay a foundation for that first, because I just want to make sure that we know that he holds the titles at 147 right now, today. Okay, so we all know that. All right. Now let's move along. Quick question. All right. Do anybody have a problem with Rolly Romero? Yes or no? Do anybody have a problem with Rolly Romero? Double salute to my guy, Lucky McKinnels. That's my guy, day one supporter. Thank you for your support and your contribution to the Cash App, brother. Appreciate you. Lucky says, for Terence Crawford should fight Tszyu next. Lucky always, Lucky's a very smart man. Lucky, that's the point that I was gonna make later on. Hold on, Lucky. Dang. All right, it's cool. It's cool. Lucky didn't know I was going to say that. But it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I'm gonna bring it back around. But listen, nobody has a problem. I see all these no's. No, not sure. No. He trashed, but no. Nope. Everybody's telling me that they don't have a problem with Rolly Romero. Not you, Lucky. I'm sorry. I meant to say Rolly. So no one has a problem with Rolly Romero. Okay. Does anybody have a problem with Sebastian Fundora? Anybody got a problem with him? Just yes or no. Can we just get some engagement in the chat? I'm going somewhere with this, but I would love for your participation to make this entertaining, but also educational. Does anybody have a problem with Sebastian Fundora? Okay, nobody has a problem with Sebastian. No, okay, somebody said, yeah, I don't know what the problem is. Okay, great. So, all right. So, a lot of people don't have a problem with him. You know why I asked you all that? Because Sebastian Fundora and Rolly Romero, they have something in common. Yeah, I know they were on the same card over the weekend. Not that. They have something in common. in their last fight before they became a world champion, they both got knocked out. Did y'all know that? Thank you, Windy City Assassin. Salute. Did y'all know that? They both got knocked out, and then they got something else in common. In their next fight, they fought for a world title. You heard me talk about this first 2 weeks ago. Now, I heard that there are other people starting to use that as their examples, but we know that I spoke on this first 2 weeks ago when I talked about Sebastian Fedora getting a shot in the first place at this title with Tszyu. This 2.5 weeks ago, I talked about this. But that's okay. You know, people be listening to me, and then they go on their channel, and then they regurgitate it like they thought about it themselves. And that is okay, as long as you get the information. And I'm not talking about nobody in particular. I'm just telling you what things I've heard people say over the last 2 days. Now, let's get on to this. So, Rolly Romero and Sebastian Fedora both got knocked out in their last fight before they competed for a world title and won. Remember Rolly Romero? He fought Tank Davis. Y'all remember that? He fought Tank Davis and he got knocked out. And then in his next fight, he was competing for a world title and he won and became champion. Sebastian Fedora, in his last fight, before he fought Tszyu Saturday night. Remember, he got knocked out by Brian Mendoza. Y'all remember that? And then now in his next fight, he competed for a world title, 2, not 1, 2, and he actually won. Okay? What is the point of me bringing that up? Because people are saying that because Terence Crawford dominated Errol Spence, and because Errol Spence got knocked out in his last fight, that he should get in the back of this imaginary line, and then all of a sudden, he shouldn't be able to fight for a world title in his next fight. But if you go back and look at the last decade of boxing, you can see the business patterns of certain promoters where this happens. Am I right or wrong? Now, if I'm not right, y'all can correct me because there's other fights I can bring up too. I'm just using those 2 examples because those are recent and we all saw both of those guys compete on the same card on Saturday evening, right? Yes, 2 Cents Boxing. Yes, he was. I saw the snack logo on Brian Mendoza's trunks. It's always in the back. If y'all go back on YouTube, y'all might be able to find that. Yeah, Mendoza had the snack. I think it was written in gold letters. Yeah, it was on his trunks. I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. Got his behind handed to him, didn't he? You see, in Lomachenko's last fight, right? Lomachenko last fight, didn't he lose to Devin Haney? Okay then. You see, he's fighting next, don't you? Okay then. Now I just wanted to bring that part up. Now I have a question. I heard people on this channel say, especially in my comments section, last week and 2 weeks ago and 2.5 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago, and even on this panel here, I heard Terence Crawford fans say, and other places on YouTube, that Terence Crawford is in negotiations with Tszyu. Did y'all hear that too? Let's see if we can get some engagement in the chat. Remember, people were saying that Tszyu and Terence Crawford was in negotiations. You remember that, Andre? 2 Cents remember that. Y'all remember that? I got a question on that. If Terence Crawford was in negotiations with Tszyu, then my question is, how did Sebastian Fedora get the call in the first place? If Terence Crawford, I'm gonna ask it again, was in negotiations to fight Tszyu, then how comes Sebastian Fundora, who was already on the card originally to fight somebody else, how did he get the opportunity instead of Terence Crawford? I mean, if they was already in a negotiation with each other, it would be more feasible for all parties involved not to call Sebastian Fundora, but to just get Bud on the phone and say, hey, Keith Thurman pulled out. He suffered an injury. He will not be able to compete, unfortunately. But however, we've been in negotiation with Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford can just, boom, get in there and fight Tszyu. But that's not what happened. You see? What happened was Sebastian Fundora's promoter, I've said his name hundreds and hundreds of times on this channel, Samson Lukowitz, he got the call on behalf of Sebastian Fundora, and that's how Sebastian Fundora got this fight. What am I saying? I'm saying that this is the premise that I built this YouTube channel on. And that is a slogan that you all have heard me say time and time again. And you're going to see it on the merchandise that's coming soon. Good representation is priceless. Good representation in this business is priceless. Remember, I keep telling y'all that? Sebastian Fundora has good representation. Errol Spence Jr. have good representation.